Hello, my name's Becky and I am from Are You Fit, and I bring you today Pilates specifically for digestion. We're going to be working through a series of movements seated on your back and lying on your front. You can do them at whatever pace you feel like you need to. Really listen to your body. If something feels a little bit uncomfortable, you can sit it out or lie it out and do it another time. That's totally fine. It's your exercise. I'm just here to show you exercises that you can do to help aid your digestion. So let's get going. I'm going to ask you to sit in a comfortable seated position, cross-legged if you can. And we're going to start to move around in a circle. So I'm just moving around my hips, moving my shoulders forward from the hips and then going to the side and then moving backwards. Just relaxing my hands gently on my knees. We're going to start to make the circle a little bit bigger, creating a cave in the stomach area as we go backwards. So we're trying to get the tummy to do lots of different movements. And we're going to change direction. And we start small. And then we slowly start to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. Keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. Remember to keep breathing. Try not to hold your breath. Making it nice and big now. Last one. Well done, perfect. So let's turn around and go to lying on your back. So we're going to have your feet flat on the floor and we're going to lie all the way down. There wants to be a nice hip width gap between your knees and your ankles. So if you bring your feet together, turn your toes apart, then turn your heels apart, now your feet are in line with your knees and in line with your hips. We're going to place the arms down on the floor with the palms flat on the floor. Open the shoulders, open the chest, pressing the backs of the shoulders down into the ground and then pressing your arms into the floor to activate the arms as well. So let's start to roll through the spine. We're going to tilt the pelvis forwards and backwards to begin with, pushing your lower back down onto the ground. Lifting your tailbone slightly off the floor. Remember to breathe as well. So ideally you want to breathe out as you're pushing your lower back down towards the ground. However, breathing isn't a big necessity right now. We're going to start to make the movement a bit bigger by tilting the pelvis and pushing your hips up towards the sky, squeezing your glutes at the top and then rolling yourself all the way back down again. Tailbone is the last thing to come down. Tilt the pelvis, roll yourself all the way up, squeeze the glutes at the top and then rolling yourself all the way back down. So we're going to do this a few more times. Remember to breathe. You can breathe freely. Breathing freely is more important than being specific. So as long as you're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, you're all good. Trying to get each vertebrae to tap into the floor one by one, creating a ripple effect through the spine to get all of the digestive system and the core muscles moving and functioning, giving your interior a little bit of a massage. Let's do one more. And we're going to come all the way down, bringing both knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Have a little rock and roll from side to side. Then we're going to move your legs into a tabletop. So we're going to bring the right leg into a tabletop, knee above the hip and at 90 degrees. And then your left leg comes into a tabletop, knee above the hip and at 90 degrees. Now here, your back might want to start to lift off the floor. We want to try and keep tilt the pelvis to push lower back down towards the ground, keep tummy muscles engaged and strong. If it's too much or it's hurting your lower back or you can feel it straining on your core, bring your knees closer towards your head. We're going to place the hands on the floor next to you into a V shape. As we breathe out, we're going to drop both knees down towards the floor, keeping that parallel distance between the feet and the knees. Try not to use your arms too much. We're going to use the core to bring your legs back to the center. Breathing in, breathing out to take it over to the other side, keeping that parallel distance between the knees and the ankles. Breathe in to come back to the center. Breathing out to take it over. In to come up. Out to take it over. Going as slowly as you feel like you need to. Getting a nice twist through the abdominals. Engage the core to bring yourself back up. When you come through the center, pushing lower back down towards the ground whilst keeping a natural curve. Tummy muscles are engaged. We're going to do one more in each direction. Coming up through the center and dropping over to the other side. And coming up to the centre. Well done, really, really nice. Then coming back into your chest, give yourself a hug, rock and roll from side to side. So we're going to take both hands now onto the knee of the left leg. We're going to extend the right leg along the floor and rest it on the floor. So we're going to bring the left knee into your chest as tight as you can. Give yourself a nice big hug with that leg. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. Push lower back down into the ground and use your tummy muscles to look at your knee or bring your nose towards your knee. Now holding it here, we're going to give your knee a big hug with your hands. Hold this position, really hold and hug your lower back down towards the ground, engaging the core. And now we're going to flex the feet, so creating that extra resistance. Then take a deep breath in. On your out breath, lift your right leg slightly off the floor. If it's difficult to lift, you don't have to. Then breathe in to come back down. Drop your head back down and change legs. Bringing your right knee in. Left leg goes to the floor. Pointing the toes to begin with. And we do the same. We hug the leg in nice and tight. We tilt the pelvis, pushing lower back down towards the floor. We take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, lift head and shoulders up off the ground, looking towards your knee. Drawing tummy button towards your spine. Then we're going to give it a big hug. Keep breathing. Breathing in through the nose. As you breathe out, flex both feet, creating that extra resistance. Draw tummy button towards your spine. Keep it strong, so it's your tummy doing the work, not your neck and shoulders. However, if you're in this position and you can feel your neck and shoulders aching, you can rest. Let's lift the lower leg up off the floor. Then dropping it back down. We're going to point both toes, dropping your head down and change legs. One more time on each side. Extending the right leg along the floor, left leg comes into your chest. We take a deep breath in, and on your out breath, we tilt the pelvis, pushing lower back down towards the ground and lifting head and shoulders up off the floor using your core muscles. Then using your arms to help pull your leg in. We're going to flex both feet, then lift your right leg up off the floor. Breathe in to come back down. Dropping head back down. And we change for the last time. Right knee comes in, left leg goes along the floor. Relaxing the feet. Give it a nice big hug. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, tilt the pelvis, push lower back down towards the ground, lift up head and shoulders up off the floor, get your tummy muscles to do the work. Giving yourself a nice big hug. We're going to flex both feet. Draw tummy button towards your spine, keep it super strong, then lifting your left leg off the floor. For a little hover, then we're going to drop it back down. Release your head back down and bring your left knee into your chest to give yourself a hug, rocking and rolling from side to side. Then we're going to roll over onto your front. So at this point, if lying on your front is really quite uncomfortable, you don't have to do it. You can skip this bit out, you can do more side to side movement, you can do more single legged if you want to. Really listen to your body, do what feels good for you. If you're happy to come onto your front though, we're going to take your hands either side of your head, so your elbows are at a 90-degree position, and we're going to drop the head down onto the floor. Now let's tilt the pelvis to lengthen your lower back. So you're actually squeezing your glutes, which is going to lengthen the lower back, and press the tops of the feet down into the ground. Head rests on the floor, and your arms are just there to support you. So we're going to take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, use your arms to support you, lifting your chest up off the floor, looking slightly out in front of you or to the top of your mat. Then breathe in to come back down again. Breathing out to lift. In to come back down. Out to lift. And in to come back down. Now we're going to do 3 more, so you can either stay here, or if you want to make it a bit more challenging, we're going to take your hands down by your sides with your palms on the floor, rolling the shoulders back and down away from the ears. We take a deep breath in, and on your out breath, we lift the chest up off the floor and your fingers inch down towards your knees, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears, keep squeezing the glutes. Breathe in to come back down. Breathing out to lift. In to come back down. Last time, out to lift. Squeeze the glutes, drop the shoulders down away from the ears, shoulder blades into your back pockets. Strong, strong, strong. Then breathe in to come back down. Bringing your hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to lift up the upper body and bring yourself up into an all fours position with your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Let's go through some cat and cow positions. So we're breathing out to push the floor away, coming into a cat pose, bringing the chin to the chest, tailbone down to the floor. Then breathe in to reach in the opposite direction, melting your heart to the floor, shoulders away from the ears, tailbone up to the sky. And come back to a flat back to look over your right shoulder towards your right ankle. Stretching down the side of your body for a little lateral flexion through the torso. And going on to the other side. And come back to the centre. And we're going to take the knees out a little bit wider, bringing the toes towards each other and slowly reversing yourself back into a child's pose. Reaching your arms out in front of you, heart comes down towards the floor, opening up the chest, opening up the shoulders, increasing flexibility of the hips, the knees, the ankles, the shoulders. And every time you breathe out, try to relax deeper into this stretch. Just taking a few gentle breaths here, enjoying it. And slowly bringing yourself back up again. And moving yourself around into a mermaid's pose. So you can sit like this. I would suggest to have one leg in front and the other leg to the side. So your knees are roughly 90-90, so 90 degrees. We're going to place your left hand onto your left leg. Then taking your right arm up to the sky. We breathe in to reach up and we breathe out to lean towards that left knee. Trying to keep both sit bones on the floor. Trying to keep this knee down, the right knee down towards the ground if you can. Really reaching out through the fingertips. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, try to reach a bit further. And coming back to the centre, we're going to reach forward. So we're literally just going to tap your fingertips on the floor and then slowly see if you can bring yourself forward, just to give yourself a bit of an extra stretch through the lower back and the glutes as well. Now you may be able to go quite far, you may not be able to go very far at all. So really listen to your body. And then coming back up, we're going to go on to the other side. So changing both legs over. So we've got 90 degrees in the front knee and 90 degrees in the back leg, back knee as well. Try and sit down onto your sit bones as much as you can. We're going to bring your right hand onto your right ankle. Breathing in to reach up nice and high. And as you breathe out, leaning over towards the right. Stretching and opening down the left side of the body. Breathing in to lift up higher. Breathing out to reach further, trying to avoid kind of curving forward. We want to try and keep open through the side of the body so you've got a nice curve of the body going sideways rather than going forwards. And then come back to the centre again. And finally, with your legs out in front of you, toes up towards the sky. Try and sit up as nice and tall as you can. You may find this really difficult to sit like this if you've got tight hamstrings. So what you can do is sit with your feet against the wall or sit with your back against the wall, but it is going to make it a bit more tricky to turn. We're going to sit up nice and tall and take your arms out wide. Breathe in to lift, breathe out to rotate. Breathe in at the centre, breathe out to rotate. In at the centre, out to rotate. In at the centre, out to rotate. One more time in each direction. Breathe in to lift at the centre, breathe out to rotate as far as you can, each time getting a bit further. Last one, breathing in to lift, breathing out to rotate. Now you may find one side is easier than the other, it's kind of normal. Keeping your arms out wide, we're going to take your feet out a bit wider as well. And finally, bring in your left hand, we're going to rotate down towards your right foot, give it a tap, come back up, breathe in to lift, breathe out to rotate, right hand towards your left foot, breathe in to lift up. One more time on each side. We breathe in to lift, we breathe out to rotate. Reach as far as you can. You may not be able to get to your foot, that's fine. You can go to your knee, your shin, wherever. Breathe in to lift, breathe out to rotate, and reach. And relaxing there. Super good job, well done. Whatever you managed to do today, don't panic if it wasn't as much as you thought it was going to be. It's a practice. It's not supposed to be perfect. You do you do what feels good for you on the day. When you come back to do it another time, it's probably going to feel completely different, and you might be able to do more, you might be able to do less. But please remember, it's a practice. You need to do you. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you want to do more Pilates, you can send me on social media, Are You Fit Cornwall? Are You Fit Cornwall? Thanks again.